Listen to me when I say this. I deeply believe, as a former Republican in my teens, as a former conservative, as a person who's raised Catholic, as a person who voted McCain and Palin for her first election as a teenager. Okay, I get it. You can criticize me. I deserve it. I was a gay Republican. So just, in case conservatives watch this later and they're like, the left turned her gay. I was always gay. I was gay before I could vote. Thank you. As a person who's now deconstructing queer and progressive, I think MAGA Republican conservatives want to be, and they are gay and trans, and they feel too afraid and too scared to embrace it, and they're mad at us for being okay with it. They're mad at us for loving our life. They're mad and they hate it. They see it as like a deep, deep sin, like a real sin. It's like they're watching us be gluttonous and they're like, stop being a glutton. And it's like, we're not being gluttonous. We're just enjoying our life, but they don't know the difference. And I think I would love to in any way free or help free them from that blinder that they have on. And so I want to watch this video with you just to, begin my research journey into making a podcast about this. The sick reason Grindr crashes at MAGA events. Have you guys heard this? That during the Republican National Convention and during Charlie Kirk's, I think, memorial, the Grindr crashed again. Okay. I can't tell you how many queer people I know, how many people I meet, how many closeted, gay and trans people there are in the world. I want them to feel safe enough to come out. But a big reason they don't is because they're ashamed, and they're ashamed because the bubble shames them. That's why I don't believe shame works. And I just don't. I don't think shame really works. I think, and shame is when you've betrayed the expectation of the bubble. Guilt is when you've betrayed your own values. I think until you feel guilty, like until it's your own values, you probably won't change. Because in the same way the bubble tried to make me feel shameful for being gay, right? Like that didn't help me. That just made me hate myself more. So I don't see how that's going to help somebody else not hate themselves more. Versus me coming to the realization that there was nothing wrong with being gay. And I shouldn't embody that. I was a good person even though that I was gay. All of that stuff, right? So there's something here that I think is significant. But I would like to, with compassion, free those people. And also why I think bigotry is because of ignorance is so much of this, right? It's like bigotry it comes from anger, it comes from resentment, it comes from, why do you get to do this if I can't do this? It comes from, you're less than me, I'm better than you. There is a real internalized negative feeling of I'm better than you. And we have to deconstruct that, right? Discourse said, hey, Laverne Cox couldn't have dated that conservative cop if there wasn't a conservative cop to date. Exactly. These men, I can't tell you how many trans people I've heard from who say these men slide into their DMs, these Republican, politicians always being caught with CP, which is, by the way, a completely separate conversation. I do not, like conservatives, want to wrap up the LGBT experience and conservative experience with CP, but so many conservative men have been recently caught with CP on their computer. It's absolutely insane. But that is a completely separate topic from what we're talking about in terms of consenting relationships or consenting ideas or identities, be it trans, gay, pan, queer, whatever. And remember, with Queer Ultimatum just being canceled and with Trump having his hands in television, we might be going back to the 90s. Remember that I was raised in the 90s and 2000s. And Ellen show got canceled. Rosie O'Donnell got canceled. So many queer, gay people, they weren't always queer, but gay people were kicked off the television because it was obscene and inappropriate. And trust me when I say this, that there's a very good chance that this administration is trying to go back there. Okay. So be kind, be compassionate, especially to yourself, and do the right thing, even if nobody else is doing the right thing, because there's going to be a lot of people in the next 4 years who are going to do a lot of the wrong things. And it's going to be so tempting for you to be as ugly as they are. But like we just watched this Ethan Klein video, look how bad it is for your skin, okay? To do the wrong thing. Look how bad it is. All right, let's watch this video. Have you guys seen this channel? This is channel 100 News with Evie. I've been liking it. Do we have any thoughts about her? Do we know who she is? I just came across her for the first time.
Grindr allegedly crashed during Charlie Kirk's memorial and the RNC in Milwaukee. Whether it really did or not almost doesn't matter. The rumor blew up because it fit the joke we all know, closeted Republicans. But the real story isn't just hypocrisy. It's about why the closet still thrives in conservative politics and how it fuels everything from makeup-covered speeches to actual laws. The science of homophobia. Back in the 90s, a study caused a stir. Researchers showed homophobic men 3 sets of erotic videos: straight couples, lesbian couples, and gay male couples. They strapped participants to equipment measuring penile tumescence, basically a scientific boner detector. The results? Well, homophobic men reacted just like everyone else to straight and lesbian porn. But when it came to gay male sex, about half of the most homophobic participants showed clear signs of arousal. They got boners. The author suggested this lined up with an idea called reaction formation, or as others have called it, the desire to cruelty pipeline. People who are threatened by their own hidden desires push back by loudly hating the thing they secretly want.
Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. That's what I'm saying. That's why, what's his name from Fresh and Fit? Oh my God, has it been so long since I've reviewed that bubble? Marlon. Maven. Oh my God, Myron, thank you. Myron Gaines, holy shit. I can't believe I forgot his name. That's amazing. Wow, I've really been freed. Oh my God, the spirit of the devil left my body. Holy shit, I was free for a second. Myron, okay. The world is healing. Oh my God. Okay, Myron Gaines hates women, I think because he's attracted to them. I know a lot of people think he's gay. I actually don't think Myron is gay. I think he wishes he was gay, in my opinion. I think he just hates women so much that this is how it manifests. And I think that's what, like, that, talk about misogyny. You're so misogynistic, you wish you were gay. Process that information.
That study exploded in the media. For decades, you've probably heard the line, the loudest homophobe is secretly gay. And honestly, it's satisfying. It makes hypocrisy feel inevitable, or like cosmic karma. But in 2005, Brian P. Mayer and colleagues published a study with the perfect title, A Secret Attraction or Defensive Loathing, Homophobia, Defense, and Implicit Cognition. And they complicated the story. They wrote, contrary to the idea that defensive homophobics harbor an implicit attraction for gay sex,
Well, hold on. Chad said he thinks pussies are gross. He's gay for sure. Well, I know a lot of people who think genitals are gross, gay or straight. I know a lot of lesbians who think vaginas are gross. I know straight people who think genitals are gross. I hate to say it, guys. I think there is something misogynistic about hating pussy, but also I think we are discounting the fact that human sexuality isn't that basic. Like, it's just not. And also, genitals don't make a gender. We know this, right? We've deconstructed gender on this channel. A vagina doesn't belong to women. Penises don't belong to men. You know what I mean? Like, but when we're having this conversation, when we're really thinking about understanding a person, yeah, it's funny to make the jokes that are simplified. But also, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, it's just a thing. I don't know. I don't have any connection to a body. If I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I think bodies are bodies. Sometimes I think, oh, that body looks nice. And sometimes I just think it's there. I think it's also a cope to become like obsessed with like, oh, I love backs. I love feet. I love whatever. I just think like we're coping. You know what I mean? I just think we're severely not deconstructing why we're even attracted to things or think things are nice. That's like people who won't date people because their body doesn't look a particular way. It's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Found that such individuals displayed evidence of phobic-like aversion. In normal people speak, it means not every homophobe is secretly lusting after what they condemn. Some genuinely experience fear and disgust, like a spider phobia where the thing you hate triggers panic, not hidden desire. People scared of spiders don't usually want to fuck the spider, is what I'm saying. That gives us two distinct camps, the closeted, repressed kind and the defensive, phobic kind. And that distinction matters when we look at Grindr crashes and MAGA politics, the two faces of the closet. So who was logging in?
Okay, hold on. Chat, you're like, have you seen a nice pair of hands or a muscular back? Yeah, guys, but do you understand that people are saying they're attracted to people based off of the back or based off of not having a back? Do you know what I'm saying? That's what we think genitals are. Oh, I'm only attracted to you if you have the genital I like. So everything else in my body, my mind, my face, my arms, good, but my genitals don't match and it's over. You like everything else about me, right? That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about like, but then that's an interesting idea. And then it's like, okay, what, again, this channel is meant to challenge us to think about why we make these jokes. Why do we make fun of people for thinking like genitals are gross, but also why do we think genitals are gross? But also why do we think they're beautiful? They're just kind of neutral. Are they beautiful? Are they ugly? Are they just there? And then isn't it subjective? You know, I've seen some pretty vaginas. I've seen some ugly ones. I've seen some pretty dicks. I've seen some ugly ones. But isn't it all, like, does it even matter at the end of the day? You know, when you're in love?
At the RNC. Most likely the repressed group, the ones who feel desire but can't square it with their political or religious world. Michael wrote.
And by the way, the Republicans are trying to engage with more gay people, but it's not going to save you, Jeffree Star, Leo Skeppy. It's not going to save you. At the end of the day, they are not going to like you. They're going to use you, abuse you, and throw you to the curb like everybody else. All these pick-me's that are working really hard to get these people to accept you, they're not going to accept you. It's like women who pick men, you know, at the expense of other women. Yeah, at the end of the day, girlies, he's not going to pick you if it really comes down to it.
Chester's 2012 dissertation dug into this. He found that authoritarian parenting, rigid rules, harsh punishment, a sort of my way or the highway approach, was strongly tied to homophobia and repression. Men raised this way often developed a mismatch, attraction on the inside, hostility on the outside. So when a Grindr rumor hits the RNC, it's not surprising. In that crowd, you've got people secretly scrolling because they crave connection they can't admit to, maybe not even to themselves. But right next to them are the other camp, the ones not sneaking into the app but cheering for Trump's policies. As Maya put it, defensive homophobics might be so averse to gay sex that they experience fear and anxiety with mere exposure to gay images. I don't want to call anyone a pussy ass bitch, but if you're like scared of a gay guy, like get a grip. Sorry. So while one group is thirsting in the shadows, the other is whipping up bans to make—
Also, she's got a rainbow in the background. So this is a queer girly, right? Or a gay girly, or at least an LGBT girly, right? I'm assuming.
Make sure nobody can come out into the light. Group A is afraid of Group B, religion, community, and belonging. This whole dynamic gets supercharged by community, or the lack of it. Research shows that Americans without college degrees, especially those outside religion, report much more loneliness. They have fewer friends, weaker networks, and less social support. Conservative churches still offer that structure, and for many people, the church is their family, their safety net, and their entire social world. So if you're a gay Republican in that setting, the closet isn't just about sex, it's about survival. Coming out might mean losing your family, congregation, even your job. You could literally lose everything. So staying closeted or even attacking other queer people becomes a way to keep belonging, and also to keep people off your back. And this is why Trump's religious freedom policies between 2017 and now hit so hard. He expanded exemptions for doctors who refused trans patients, for adoption agencies that rejected gay parents, for employers who wanted to fire people for just being a bit queer. He sent a crystal clear message. If you're straight and devout, you're protected. If you're queer, you're disposable. So in that same convention hall, you've got two strategies playing out. Some Republicans hide on Grindr, hoping not to be found out, or to find someone in a similar situation as them. Others double down, writing laws to keep the closet locked for everyone else. Bronzer, eyeliner, and double standards. Honestly, this is why the Grindr crash rumor hits so hard. On the surface, it's hypocrisy. And yeah, hypocrisy is funny, especially when it's wearing bronzer or like just orange spray tan on the face. Like, let's be honest, Donald Trump in full pancake makeup is basically drag, just without the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, or talent. And go JD Vibes, give me stuff.
Wait, somebody said, because Trump had this like line of foundation on his face the other day, and somebody said, this is why you have to make friends with drag queens and gay people, because we would never let you leave the house like that. And I think there's something to that to an extent. Like, whoever's doing his music, whoever's doing his makeup just like isn't really paying attention to the details. And we've all had bad camera days where you put on foundation and the flash causes that white face we've seen, you know? But like the line was so clear, it was crazy. And I just thought like, oh God. Oh God. Now chat says, isn't this kind of the same thing with queer men who love to engage with cis straight men who are homophobic, like they're attracted to each other? So I will say this, gay men, not queer deconstructed men, but I think queer people who've deconstructed are less likely to engage with homophobes as a way to seek validation. But I think people who are gay or LGBT who have yet to do that are seeking validation from the norm, right? So I think trans women that I see who answer these DMs from these like rappers and celebrities and athletes who want to be with them are seeking the validation of feeling valid in their gender expression, right? I think these gay men like the Jeffree Stars who want to be like, you know, I'm a boy, like I'm not a they, them. Like he's trying to cater to those same men that make him feel validated in his agent, like in himself, like his sense of self. Like we have to understand that we're still products of the world, right? And the world has convinced us as queer people, gay people, trans people, no matter how we show up, no matter how normal we seem, we'll never be normal because normal is a construct. It's not real. It's not a real thing, right? There is no such thing as a normal. There's only such thing as an expectation based off a standard you have set by your bubble, okay? And so we have to think about these things, but obviously all of us are people and all of us have like a sense of, you know, validation seeking that's just going to be harmful to us. And again, we talked about Ethan Klein earlier in stream, Jeffree Star and Leo Skepi I've talked about on my podcast. Like how you seek validation is what we need to deconstruct because there's nothing wrong with validation seeking. There's nothing wrong with seeking validation, right? Like what's so wrong with wanting to be validated in the way that you feel, or you want to be seen, or you want your ideas to be validated? The issue is if you want them to be validated falsely, you want them to be validated by evil people. You want them to be validated, you know, in a negative way that's contrary to helping you become in sync with your joy. That's what I see with these people. I see a longing for the wrong kind of people to validate them. And that's why the validation they get will never be good enough, because it's always in secret. It's always dirty. It's always something shameful. And you are not dirty and you're not shameful for being gay or trans. Chad says, do you think Trump does his own makeup? I don't think he wipes his own ass. Well, obviously, Trump's not doing his own makeup, but whoever is doing their makeup, they need to be fired.
On JD Vance. So if you're going to write anti-trans laws, maybe don't show up looking like...
Though I will say at this point, it is the brand. At this point, if Trump is known for being orange, it would be very bad not to be orange. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how you make fun of Trump will have him, he should embrace it, if anything, because it's good for the brand. That's why Charlie Kirk laughed at his segment on South Park. It's why people laugh when they get made fun of. They try to turn it around and use it for power. Yeah, I wonder.
You just wandered out of a hot topic. The eyeliner, JD. But once you peel back the comedy, I'm holding myself in, there is something darker. The closet in conservative politics isn't just a joke. It's kind of an engine. It turns repression and fear into policies and culture wars. It makes people feel unsafe with the people they know. The politics of the closet. Authoritarian leaders know how to work that engine. Take Poland in 2019. The ruling Law and Justice Party ran a campaign branding LGBT rights as foreign ideology. Surveys showed that prejudice against queer people rose afterwards, but so did solidarity. Society polarized. That was the point. Trump did the same thing. He didn't just say LGBTQ+ people don't belong. He said religious freedom. And suddenly, his base felt holy, while LGBTQ+ protections evaporated. Same playbook, just different vocabulary. So when you hear about Grindr rumors, it's not just gossip. It's a sign that both repression and defensive loathing live side by side, and both can be weaponized by the people on stage. In a dream world, a gay guy could just be a Republican because he likes money stuff, I don't know, and it wouldn't matter. But that's not where we are. Closet isn't just personal, it's political. So yeah, the Grindr at the RNC story is hilarious, don't get me wrong. The same party banning drag queens is run by men who look like they're waiting for their turn on RuPaul's Best Friend race. Girl, you'd be sent home first. And if JD Vance spent half as much time on eyeliner tutorials as he does on anti-trans laws, maybe he'd finally blend something properly. Also, Trump's makeup is so bad, you can tell there's no gay guys there helping him. He'd look a lot better. But here's
see, we're all making the same joke.
the serious part. The closet isn't just an individual problem, it's a political tool. For some, repression means sneaking onto apps. For others, fear means doubling down on bans. Together, those two forces keep the machine running. Shame creates silence, and silence justifies the next round of cruelty. So that's the real hypocrisy. It's not just one closeted delegate on Grindr, it's a whole system where fear and desire get twisted into fuel for authoritarian politics. Until that system changes, until we stop rewarding fear and punishing difference, the closet will keep producing two things: secret users in the shadows and loud crusaders at the podium. And that's why Grindr crashing at the RNC isn't just a funny rumor, it's a warning. If you like this little breakdown, hit like, drop a comment, and make sure.
No, I'll link this video. It's definitely a warning, but it's also something more devastating. Like, my deep empathetic brain is devastated for all those people that are suffering in their silence, and I just want to free them and let them be gay. You know what I mean? You know Ivanka? What's the gender bending, gender fluid person on Luffy on One Piece? Not that I'm condoning this, but you know how he changes people's gender when he's mad at them? A part of me, like, he also does it and he frees people. Like, people are also freed when he pokes people, you know? Ivankov. I've got two different responses. Okay, but like either way, when he does it, it like can free people. It can trap people, but it also can free people, you know? And that's the point, is like sometimes I want these people just to be freed. It's okay. You're fine. Relax. Okay? Relax, you know? Let's see. Chat said, what do you mean by this? External validation is temporary. I don't know what you mean by that, but external validation is incredibly important. Example, hi, you see the moon, right? Because I want to make sure I am validated in my perception of the moon. Yes, the moon is certainly there. Okay, good. I thought I was going crazy. I am glad I have another person to confirm that the moon is certainly there. I feel validated. Thank you. Validation is incredibly important. Actually, why children need it so desperately. Because growing up, children who are invalidated start to question their sense of sanity, their sense of right and wrong, their sense of being able to perceive what's right and wrong. And it rocks them for the rest of their life until they hopefully go to therapy and deconstruct. But the point is we desperately need outside validation. We just need to make sure we get healthy validation. We have to make sure we're getting the right form of validation. We have to remember that validation is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important.